Everybody out there, welcome back live here from Friedrichshafen, Germany. Welcome back to BASF live on LinkedIn, live from Fakuma 2021. You know, for those of you who have our live stream schedule printed out on their desk, there's one important notice I have to make here. We had to change our live stream schedule. So that's because of some traffic issues that we had on the way here, but never mind, all the live streams will be available later in this program on our LinkedIn event channel, of course. And you can participate in all our live talks by asking your questions, by sending us your comments within the LinkedIn live chat, but also via email to plus.com@basf.com. But thinking about it, this topic that we are going to discuss now is actually so important that we cannot talk about it early enough. I won't do it alone, I won't do it with an expert, and that's Oliver Geiger. Oli, hi.
Hi, Richard.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm great today, yeah. And I mean, today the booth here is really crowded, yeah. It is definitely more audience than we had yesterday.
Absolutely.
And most of them, they want to talk about sustainability topics, yeah. So you're absolutely right. It's the hot topic on this trade fair.
That's definitely the topic of the hour, and we are happy to have an expert on this topic with us today. You know, I'm not an expert. I hear chemical recycling, I hear mechanical recycling, I hear organic recycling, mixed waste streams, homogeneous waste streams. Can you kind of sort this for us a little bit?
Yeah, it's really confusing. You're completely right with your statement, and we see that a lot is not really fixed today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So we see mechanical recycling has a history, it has its limitations in terms of availability of volumes, in terms of the qualities you can produce. So that's why we as BASF, we come up with alternative solutions. We're not talking about replacing mechanical recycling. We talk about having solutions that can coexist to the mechanical recycling. And one is the ChemCycling that you just mentioned, where we really emphasize on circularity, on get rid of plastic waste and taking those waste streams that you cannot use for mechanical recycling. So what are we doing today? We incinerate them. What is the consequence is we create a lot of CO2, which we don't want to do in the future, of course, because we all want to go down to net zero 2050 target. And that's why we contribute with ChemCycling. We take those waste streams, we convert them into a pyrolysis oil with only a little CO2 emissions to the atmosphere. And then what we can do, we can just replace fossil resources that we buy today, and we use those circular resources, and we can produce products that have prime quality.
Prime virgin quality.
Prime virgin quality.
Okay, so I understand that for mechanical recycling, the big challenge is you basically need very clean, sorted waste streams. Is that
exactly true? Yeah, that is exactly the case, and that is what you typically get out of post-industrial waste streams, because they never saw a life cycle, so they are not polluted, they are not mixed, so they are sorted, clean, and that's the easy way to do. And we really appreciate people doing that, because for the CO2 balance, it's perfect.
Of course.
But it's limited. So we see since 2 decades, we don't see any increase in those volumes on the market, especially in Europe here, and that means, we will not be able to fulfill the future targets that may come or that will come. So currently we have to anticipate what the EU will give us as regulations in the future, especially the automotive industry is struggling with that a lot. So because they have 5 to 7 years development cycles, and they don't know what they have to fulfill in terms of requirements in those 5 years from now.
So there are basically there are different tracks more or less running at the same time and at a little different speed.
Definitely. It is the case. Depends on the industries you're talking about, but we will see that what started in the packaging industry will be the blueprint for all the other industries when it comes to CO2 reduction and when it comes to avoidance of plastic waste and circularity.
One more thing I just saw on the explainer screen here is biomass balance approach. Also something which I think has some misconceptions also among the customers, among the general public. Can you explain what's behind biomass balance?
So biomass balance is a mass balance approach, which is already in the name, which means like in green electricity, you can replace fossil resources in that case by green renewable resources. And again, we feed those feedstocks into our our cracker, on our steam cracker, which is in the very beginning of our production chain. Yeah. So that means the outcome of that, again, is a prime virgin quality material, but it has a significant potential to reduce CO2 and also substitute fossil resources.
And customers can actually, I imagine they would get some kind of certificate that their material is now biomass balance coming from renewable resources.
Yeah, that is very important because we really want to make a very clear and it's also understandable for the customers. Okay, what's really the pathway of the material through the entire chain, and that goes with certificates. Yeah? So we do certificates on our manufacturing side, on the products, and then customers can also do on the parts they produce with those materials. So that means the entire value chain has a certificate, and that is definitely something that we will see more in the future.
And we will come back to that topic of the entire value chain, especially when it comes to the automotive industry, because there's something interesting going on. One more thing I'd like to talk about is, BASF has made big news in the past couple of months actually with, let's say, massive investments into green energy. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so that were 2 investments into wind parks in the North Sea, where we have invested really a huge amount of money for also a huge amount of electricity that we need in the future. Because one thing is, of course, you can replace feedstocks to reduce CO2, you can go towards circularity, renewables. That's what we were talking before. But the other thing is, in the chemical industry, the production chain itself consumes a lot of energy. So that starts with our steam cracker, which we heat with natural gas today, and that goes along the entire chain where we have a lot of byproducts and pre-products that consume energy. And the target is definitely a corporate target of BASF that we replace those energies by green electricity in the future. This is a mid or long-term target, of course, because in the chemical industry you don't replace those huge giant machines, devices, equipment in 2 years. So that's more like a 10 years perspective we're talking about.
If you want to talk more to Oliver, for example, I would just like to mention that you can actually book this gentleman for a virtual appointment of 15 minutes. Just visit our website fakuma.basf.com and get hold of that guy. But I'm not done with you yet, because I really want to know, these are all concepts, these are approaches, these are kind of commitments into a certain direction. But what's on the market? Is there ChemCycled parts already on the market? How is that going?
We see ChemCycling in the market already when it comes to the packaging industry, because there we already have European regulations in place, and that means, of course, there's a pressure, and that pressure is already as high, so people buy already these products from us. When it comes to the automotive industry, we're not that far as for now, because we don't have those regulations in place. So people are doing pilots, they're trying to get hold of the topic, they try to deep dive on certain details, and we see people get more and more expertise. Then we have done also a couple of pilots, one of which we see here, where we have done with Jaguar Land Rover this front end carrier. And we were talking before, in the end, we're talking about a prime quality material, no matter if we do ChemCycling or biomass content. So in the end, it doesn't need any testing on such a part, separate from what we have done on the fossil-based product. So in the end, this is ready for SOP. So we are in discussions with Jaguar Land Rover, also with their suppliers for this part, whether we can switch in the running production to a ChemCycling product. And this pilot project already was awarded with a second place in the SPE Sustainability Awards just recently. And we're really proud about that because it shows the significance of the topic, and it also shows the relevance of our concepts that we offer to our customers.
Congratulations, by the way, for that one. But let's be honest, this is just one. It's one piece. So if you could kind of make a wish also to the customer base out there, what would your one wish be when it comes to going the way towards circularity, towards sustainability?
First thing, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. So we are always happy to talk to you. Best is always to talk on a particular project or part that you're planning for. Start early discussions, having deep dives into the details, because we're talking about certification. We have all to understand, what is required then prior to SOP. So really come and do projects with us. Yeah? Everything starts with pilots, and we know that not every pilot turns into an SOP, but in the end, the more conversation we have, the more collaboration we have, the better for our customers and the better for us in the end.
Yeah. So you need, I mean, this is a time of massive transformation, of massive
course.
change.
Yeah.
So you need pioneers who really want to co-pioneer these things with you. I have a question from the that came in via email. It's focused on carbon footprint data of the product.
Very important one.
Okay.
Everything starts with product carbon footprint. Yeah? So we as BASF, we have a project running since a couple of years where we really digitalize all our production processes and we collect all CO2 emission data and energy consumption data we have in our processes. And this data is now converted to customer data, product carbon footprint data that we can provide. So target is till the end of the year, we have 45,000 products that we sell to the market ready with the product carbon footprints. For the plastic materials, we have already some. Yeah? So for our PBT grades, the Ultra Dur, for the Ultra Mid polyamide 6 grades, we have data available, and we are really happy to share with our customers, starting discussion based on that. And of course, we then can also give comparable data when it comes to those ChemCycling, biomass balance approaches to show what the saving potential is with those measures.
I can imagine that having this basically as a hard, solid, reliable figure is extremely important for customers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic. One more thing. We mentioned the automotive industry and that whole ecosystem is changing. BASF is a founding member, is that right? A founding member of this Catena-X alliance.
Yeah, exactly.
Two sentences about that.
Two sentences. Yeah. Well, Catena-X is the approach to have a digital twin of the automotive supply chain. Yeah. So that allows traceability along the value chain. That allows, of course, also to track sustainability data along the value chain. And that is one topic where I'm involved in now. And this is a perfect example how sustainability and digitalization come together. And the complexity when it comes to certificates, reliable product carbon footprint data, everything to handle that, make it comparable, make it also a standard, that always comes with digitalization. We clearly see that.
Okay. Olli, I know you could talk about this topic or those two topics, sustainability and digitalization, for hours now.
Yes.
But maybe you already have some virtual appointments going on via fakuma.basf.com. So I'll let you go for now. Thank you very much. Very interesting insights. And we'll be back later with our last live stream for today, where I will be talking to Michael Prinz, again about an automotive topic, but really about the whole ecosystem of digitalization, sustainability, and circularity, specifically for the automotive industry. So make sure you'll be back. Send us your questions, send us your comments. See you later. Bye-bye.
BASF. We create chemistry.